once upon a gentle time, when the sun had folded himself into the horizon, and the world was turning its colors soft and slow, I will tell you a very long, very calm story to carry you into sleep. Imagine a place of wide green woodlands where the trees lean together and whisper old secrets to the wind. Picture dawn light sliding between tall trunks, dappling a soft, mossy floor. Imagine, too, narrow paths where rabbit feet have worn a ribbon through fern and clover, and little streams that laugh as they hop along, slipping over flat pebbles and turning tiny silver corners. In one such forest, in a time when kings wore crowns and men rode on sturdy horses, there lived a man whose name had the warm sound of a welcome Robin Hood. This is not the story of him as a fierce or frantic outlaw to worry over. No, this unfolding tale is a long, slow, steady retelling, a bedtime walk through a gentle legend. It will linger on place, on feeling, on small, restful details. It will unfurl moments of careful kindness, shared bread, the scent of wood smoke, and the quiet bravery of people who stood for one another. Picture Robin as you might picture a favorite old oak, strong, sheltering, a steady presence. Picture also the deep hush near sunset before owl calls begin, and the air grows cool enough to feel like a wool blanket pulled up under your chin. The story begins in those hushes and cools. When Robin was young, he was quick with arrows and laughter. He walked with a bow on his shoulder and a lightness in his step, a step that tuned itself to the small songs of the place. The forest had a way of wrapping him up the way a warm cloak wraps a winter child safe and steady. Years later, what makes Robin's gentle legend spread was not only the sure skill of his bow, it was the slow and certain habit of helping. A loaf quietly shared over a threshold, warm coats slipped to shivering shoulders, a loaf of bread given without question, and a mantle of trust built brow by brow, hand by hand. Sit with me now in that hush of late afternoon. Hear, very far off, an echo of a horn, a long, soft note that rolls gentle through the understory. Close your eyes and breathe with it. That note, when it sounds in this tale, is the call of friendship. It gathers people together like birds returning along a river. In one such hush, Robin walks a green path. Soft brambles brush his sleeve, a small little noise, and he finds, beneath an ancient tree, a circle of companions. They set out a simple feast, roasted meat, a pot of thick ale, bread that is still slightly warm, and a slice of white cheese to melt into a corner. When people in the forest sit like that, they do not rush. They take their breaths slowly, let laughter move through them like a slow current, and tell small, bright stories. We let one of those stories breathe now, a small one about a young man who arrives upon the road with gold in his heart, and a message tucked carefully under his cloak. He is the kind of guest who makes everyone straighten, a dignified person who remembers names and keeps them. And because he remembers, the woodland folk remember him. They remember the kindness shown once, and in return they offer shelter. The story walks itself forward. The page, who is a quiet messenger of a faraway queen, asks gently for Robin. And when Robin receives the page, what happens is slow and steady hospitality. A place is made for the guest under the green leaves, a cup is offered, and a bowl is passed. The forest evening deepens, and with it grows a lovely, steady sense of safety. If you are tucked in bed as you hear this, notice how calm your pulse has become. The scene is a gentle measure. The page carries, tucked beneath the queen's careful hand, a small token, a ring, warm and bright with careful regard. It is a token of respect, a simple recognition for deeds done honestly and kindly. In a world that is often brisk, small tokens remind us how much steadiness matters. Robin accepts the ring with a nod that is larger than any speech, a graceful bow, an offering of thanks given back in the hush of kindness. He will later travel to stand among flags and judges and crowds, and there are other days of bright noise and challenge. But for now, with the forest close and the sky a kind, polite purple, he sits and tells a song that folds the heart. That song, the kind you would like to sing under your breath as you drift, moves through lanes of hush and tells of green places where love takes root in small acts. Time in the forest moves gently. People practice archery, not the sharpness of anger, but the delight in skill, the limit of how well you can do one true, steady thing. They roast a little meat, measure out ale slowly, and let the flames spit and whisper. Each moment is a very small miracle. The steam from a pot rising like a little cloud, the comforting clink of a wooden spoon on a pot's rim, the hush of the wood as dusk settles its soft lid. Here in this calm we watch Robin's band grow. New faces arrive, a tall, quiet fellow who is steady like the root of an oak, a light-fingered minstrel with a voice like honey at dusk, a hammer-handed tinker who laughs deep. They come not by accident, but because the wood draws them in, and because the band is the sort of place where a cold shoulder is warmed by a bowl. The wood teaches a patient kindness. Maybe you can let your breath be as patient now. Inhale smoothly, hold briefly, exhale slow. Imagine that same smooth breath making the small leaves drift. As the tale continues, sometimes danger knocks. That is a simple truth of life, even in the safest stories. Danger knocks quietly here, not harshly. If we focus on the safe countermeasures, cleverness, kindness, plans made without panic, we learn a restful courage. In one gently intense scene, Robin is tested. A public contest draws many people to cheer and clap in a place that smells of sun-warmed grass and bright banners. He steps into it not with anger, but with playful steadiness. A shot is loosed. The crowd holds its breath. The arrow makes a small, perfect sound as it lands where it was meant. Applause tumbles like pebbles down a shallow stream. The king watches, not as a distant thunder, but as a thoughtful, curious man who likes brave skill and gentle hearts. Afterwards, the king sits for a quiet meal. He laughs and praises, soft, wholehearted praise. He promises the safe return of those who take part, a sign that a friend's respect can look like protection. you might like to offer such a promise to yourself before sleep, to hold gently to the good things of the day and to let the rest rest. The story moves on at a calm pace, and sometimes our quiet hero gives and receives gifts. He shares silver generously with those who need so that others have warmth and bread. He is not unthinking, his generosity is wise and measured like soft rains that wet the roots slowly, not like a sudden flood. The next part of our walk brings us to a place where worry and heartbreak brush the edges of the band's life. A woman's son has slipped into trouble, a hunting broken by need, a small misstep that might cost him dearly. That evening, the band moves with a gentle kind of fury, not a hot red anger, but a clear, focused willingness to act. They move like a small team of caregivers, each knowing their role, and their goal is to hold the world steady for one mother who fears losing her boys. It is a tender sequence, very much like staying with someone as they climb out of a fever. The action is patient, attentive, carefully ordered. With soft courage, they come to the right place at the right time and make right what they can. Their methods are not raw or cruel. They aim for safety. When the band offers shelter to the weary or protection to the troubled, it is as much practical as it is kindly. This is a way of living that you might let settle over you now. The calm of doing what is sensible and compassionate next. The tale also tells of a long, warm day when music and feasting and polite mischief swirl like warm cream in a bowl. The minstrels' songs carry nostalgia and hush in their melody. One song of longing sounds like a breeze that makes your eyelids soft. Another promises a heart mended with company and time. The men sit together and listen to songs of playful sorrow and brave laughter. The music wraps itself around the forest like a shawl. Let it wrap you. Your eyelids may now feel slower. The story slows with them. Do not worry if your mind drifts. It is exactly where it should be, letting images slide like small stones in a slow creek. As you rest, we find evenings when cunning and trust are like two hands holding a rope. Robin lets a visitor see what he wishes to be seen, and the world respects the life he has fashioned. He offers shelter where he can. He is not perfect. None of us are. He has young faults and old virtues, just as we might. His story keeps reminding us gently that steady kindness and reasonable courage are both good tools for living. In another quiet stretch of the story, trouble arrives like rain. It starts with a whisper on the road, becoming a gathering of men who would be unkind. Yet the band knows how to step quietly and firmly when it is called for. They think fast, and they move slower than the storm, being mindful and calm. They turn the rising fear into a careful, measured rescue. Their actions are not loud opera. They are simple, practical, the kind that fix things rather than inflame them. Now rest deeper. Breathe slow. Let the rhythm of the next part of our forest walk take you further into ease. As the sun moves west and the air cools, we come to the final chapters of Robin's long life, and I will tell them softly, not with roughness, but with a softness that honors the hush of endings. The end does not come with drama or harsh thunder. Instead, it arrives much as a long day ends, slow, quiet, full of memories, gentle as a soft cloth at the cheek. Robin, now older and steady, knows that life will move on with or without his presence in it. He chooses, with deliberate tenderness, how to leave, not with sharpness, but with a small, careful thought to the people he loves and the place he loves. He asks simply that those who stand by him remember to keep his place green. He points out a spot where an arrow strikes a mark and says softly that if anyone wishes to remember him, there let a small marker be placed and a seed be sown. That wish is much like a bedtime ritual, a small, clear request for simple continuity. In that final moment, we fold our breath into the story, gentle and sure. Robin lays down the bow, a life of kindness lived in action. The people who loved him stand in the hush and promise quietly to hold to the same gentle courage. They do not make a grand theater of grief. They simply steady one another, and they remember. And now, with the last flicker of this long tale, let us gather up a few small, quiet lessons the story gives us. The ones that help us fall asleep gently, like a cat curling into a warm lap. 1. Choose small kindnesses. A small gift given at the right time is more powerful than a wide show of riches. Little bread shared, a quietly held hand, an extra blanket. These are the things that make a world rest easy. 2. Practice steady courage. Courage that is slow, careful, and wise is restful to the spirit. It is about doing the right thing in small ways, not grand gestures driven by heat. 3. Find your place of calm. Like the greenwood, find a peaceful spot in your day where you can breathe and be quiet. Visit it often. 4. Keep your people close. People who listen without hurry and who share small duties keep one another safe. 5. Let endings be gentle. If you can meet endings with kindness and a clear mind, you will leave others comforted, and you will find sleep easier too. With those thoughts, I will close this long and gentle tale. The forest hush rests across the land, the firelight dips low, and the last of the moths stirs in the lavender at your window. Let your breath find a long, slow rhythm. If a thought wakes you, let it pass like a tiny bird over a pond. Notice it and let it go. Remember the scene you liked most, the warm face of a friend, the smell of bread, the soft thud of an arrow flying straight. Let that memory keep you company as sleep comes. When you inhale, imagine the scent of wet leaves. When you exhale, imagine the sound of a last, long horn note fading into the quiet. Rest now in the gentlest way you know. Carry the calm of the greenwood into your sleep and wake with the same small, steady courage to give a little kindness in your day. Good night. Sleep well. The forest holds you warmly until morning comes.